we have emotional detachment. This one is going to go in the soul tax tier. So, being emotionally detached, when you're just constantly dealing with one short term connection after another, I don't even think you can truly be a player, whether you're a man or a woman, unless you've had a relationship that you wanted to work out and it didn't. Like, you had to become detached to it, whether this was your parent, your mom, your dad, or some type of guardian, or maybe even an ex or something like that. I think you have to have had something like that just to give you that numbness that you need to kind of have your heart on ice that allows you to be a player. And when you are a player, you just strengthen this more and more. You know what I'm saying? You're exercising the muscle. You're making that pathway just get even stronger and even stronger. All right, next we have can't stop. Now I gotta pick a LeBron here because LeBron, he can't stop playing basketball. We all know Savannah probably wanted him to quit like after he won that first ring in LA. She was like, "Look, LeBron, you won this ring. You know what I'm saying? We got kids. Let's settle down. Let's calm down." But LeBron, he can't stop. He's so used to the routine. He's so used to being in the league. He's so used to being LeBron James that he cannot stop playing the game. It's like Tom Brady. You know what I'm saying? Tom Brady, he could not stop playing football. And people always say that you have to have like a 304 phase or a player phase. But in reality, it's not something that you get out of you. It's something that you get in you. That's the truth of the matter. You know what I'm saying? Because once you see, it almost becomes addicting. It becomes addicting to get the validation from people. You know what I'm saying? It becomes addicting. It becomes like a game almost. And it's hard to quit a game when you're at the peak, when you're doing good. You know what I'm saying? It's like when LeBron said he can't quit until he feels like there's nothing more he can give to the game, until he feels like he's cheating the game. So unless you get to that point where maybe you take a big loss from maybe one of the other cons on this list or something else, it's going to be hard for you to stop. It's not impossible. It doesn't tax your soul. If you really want to, you can't stop it. You know, just like almost any other addiction, if you really wanted to stop it, if you truly wanted to stop it, most addictions you can stop. It's the same thing with being a player. If you really wanted to, you could. All right, next we have burning bridges. I'm going to put this joint and you will feel later. Look, at the time, man, you might not feel it. You might be like, hey, look, if it don't work out with Shorty, it don't work out. I don't care. You know what I'm saying? She could do whatever she wants. She could tell whatever story. But as you get older, bro, you know what I'm saying? You never know what doors you might have closed by being a player. And this is why it's so important. And I put this in you will feel later because it might not happen now. It might not never happen if you make sure to be honest. You know what I'm saying? Like, just tell the girl what it is. If you're a girl, tell the guy what it is. You know, just being honest can kind of prevent you from burning bridges. Because, you know what I'm saying? 9 times out of 10, 7 times out of 10, I'll say, if you're with a girl, even if she just starts out like something casual, like she knows who you are, you being honest, like, hey, look, I'm just trying to have fun. You trying to have fun. Let's have fun together. She might enter that like, okay, cool, that sounds good. And then as time goes by, she started getting attached to you. And then when it ends, now she's mad at you. But at the same time, as long as you were honest, she's probably going to be like, I did end up getting attached to him. But she'll probably like close it off early or something. But it will be hard for her to have a grudge against you. So she won't, you know what I'm saying? She won't have a grudge against you. Whereas if you don't tell her that you're a player and you know, try to run a game as if, you know, you want to have a whole relationship and live a life with her, and then things go left, that can really burn a bridge, bro. And hell have no fury like a woman scorned. This is 100% true. And this kind of brings us to the next one we have, reputation. I'm going to put this one in the same tier. You will feel later. You might not feel it in the moment. Like, you know what I'm saying? When you in your prime, if anything, your reputation might help you. Let's be real. Sometimes when girls know like, oh, he's been with Amaya, well, now that you've been with Amaya, maybe I'm pulling random names out my head. I don't know people with these names. Maybe Danny wants to be next. That's just how the game goes, right? So the reputation could end up helping you, but later in life, you know, you look at like this T-app that's been going around. Eventually, bro, it could get to a point where now you're known as a player. You're known as a guy who just has fun with girls. And this could have damaging if you ever want to like have a serious relationship. Because I don't care who you are, whether it's a man or a woman, nobody wants to be with somebody who, like everybody, yeah, you know what I'm saying? If you have a little bit of fun, that's fine. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, you were a little bit of a player, or if you're a girl, you were a little bit of a female player, that's fine. You know, but if it's excessive to the point where your reputation precedes you, it's going to be like what Drake said. You know, sometimes I feel like I'll end up with somebody who's been with everybody. You're going to end up being with somebody who's probably been with everybody, just like you've probably been with a lot of people, or I don't know, maybe somebody with extremely low self-esteem. That's no diss to them, but that's the only two options I would really see once you build up an extremely big reputation is that. And I'm going to be fair, they might not have low self-esteem. Maybe they're just extremely understanding. I'll put it that way, because I don't want to project that on them, on a person who you're with. But I'm just saying, like, you either have to be with somebody who's extremely understanding, or somebody who did the same lifestyle you lived. That's why you might not want to be an extreme player to where you're like putting up Wilt Chamberlain numbers. Like you're going crazy. All right, so next we have time use. I'm gonna put this one in low key L. I would put it in you will feel later, but let's be for real, bro. You're feeling that right now. All this time you spend talking to girls, by the time you get to 3 girls on your roster, look, you gotta spend at least 30 minutes calling them a week. Minimum. At least one 30-minute call a week. You got to spend at least one hangout with them every 2 weeks. Minimum 2 hours. So that's 2, 4, 6 hours, 7 hours, 30. That's darn near an extra shift every 2 weeks of unpaid labor. Matter of fact, you're probably spending some type of bread. Now, yes, you know what I'm saying? If you're really a player, the girl's going to be spending money on you, or at least going 50-50, or darn near, yeah, sometimes, look, she'll cover the whole trip. So that's why I didn't put money per se, because if you're really a player, bro, you should not be spending that much money on a girl unless you want to, like, unless you have it like that. Like, nah, there's nothing wrong with taking a girl out and spending money, or if you're a girl, nothing wrong with taking a dude out and spending money on him. But don't go out of your budget, right? Whether you're a girl or a guy, don't go out of your budget. But time use is universal. Like, that's a low-key L, bro. You're spending a lot of time, and you're probably not where you want to be in life. That's no diss, but it's like, you got to think, look, was LeBron where he wanted to be in life when he made it to the NBA? No, he wanted to win rings. So you're always trying to improve in life, and the time you spend getting girls, being a player, is time that could be better spent elsewhere if you're not where you finally want to be in life. But I put it in low-key L because, you know, if that's how you want to spend your time, YOLO, spend your time how you want to use it. You feel me? So do you. All right, next we have no meaning. I'm going to put this one in, I kind of want to put it in player tax, low-key. But I'll put it in player tax, actually, because it's like a lot of this stuff is just meaningless, bro. A lot of these connections are meaningless. Like, okay, you met her, you had a good time, it didn't really go anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Like, are you ever going to see this woman again? No. Or is she really going to benefit your life in any other way? Probably not. So ultimately, it really had no true meaning and purpose. But I'm putting it in player tax because even though it had no grand meaning in general, you know, it might have meant something to you. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to say it's a complete L, but ultimately, yeah, it's a lot of meaningless connections, right? And that brings me to this point, shallow. A lot of the connections are just shallow. So on top of you being a player has no real meaning in life, you don't get any award for that, bro. You're not going to get a championship ring. They're not putting your jersey in the rafters. A lot of these connections you're making are shallow. Like, they're extremely deep. Y'all probably not talking about nothing. She comes over to the crib or you pull up on her. Maybe you're like, hey, you seen that Love Island episode? Oh, yeah, for sure. No, it was crazy. Oh, what you trying? Oh, you watched that? Okay, yeah, for sure, cool. Now I just be cooling for real. Oh, yeah. Nah, yeah, you look mad good. Like, just really shallow stuff. Y'all are not talking about anything. And this isn't to say that if you get a girlfriend, y'all need to have deep conversations on the literature and the economic state and point of view of the world. Nah, not at all. I mean, even if you get a girl, y'all don't need to be talking about deep stuff all the time. But I'm saying especially when you're being a player, a lot of the conversations, a lot of the connections will be shallow. The only caveat I would say to that is, once you like, if you're with a girl for a longer period of time and y'all actually have a real connection, y'all can have deep conversations. But at the same time, in my opinion, if you go in too deep in the conversation, she might feel a little bit too exposed, and now that kind of ruined the whole point of it being a casual thing. You feel me? So it's pros and cons, but a lot of the times the connections are very shallow. All right, so next we have ego. So ego, bro, this one is, I'm putting it in you will feel later. Anything that brings you up, we all know can bring you down. And it's no different when you are a player, right? Being a player, yes, it's gonna fulfill your ego. You know what I'm saying? With all these, like, look, you could be broke. You could have got fired from your job. You could have nothing going for you in life. You could have just failed your class, failed your test. You know what I'm saying? But if you wake up with a bad Bennington in your bed, who you just spent an amazing night with from sunset to sunrise, there's nothing nobody can tell you for maybe the entire month. Depending on how bad she is, it might be the entire month. It's nothing nobody can say to you. Because there's like, the feeling is just, it's almost ancestral. It's like just an ancestral feeling of I'm him. That's what it feels like. So I can't put it in a, like, as if it's hard to recover from, or if it's a soul tax, because it's not necessarily a con all the time. But at the same time, as you become dependent on that for your ego, it now becomes a part of your identity. So now, what if something happens in your life where you don't have time, or you can't be talking to all these girls, or you can't just have girls at this moment or have women at this moment because you're living your life in a way where you don't have the time for it, maybe, or you don't have the energy for it. This, now it can harm your ego. It can make your aura dim down. This is why it's so important, right? Like, you see basketball players do this. You know, they become really good at basketball. That's their entire life. And then once they stop playing basketball, they spiral out. A lot of athletes, they spiral when they're done with the sport, because what you have to do is, once you've built your ego on this one thing, whether that's a sport, whether that's women, whether that's your job, whether that's anything in life, you need to diversify your ego and diversify your identity. That way you're not just one thing, right? If you're a tall, nonchalant redhead, what happens if, like, we take off your dreads? You got to still be able to be you. You know what I'm saying? Without the dreads. All right, next we have pregnancy. This one is hard to recover from, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Like, you getting the wrong girl pregnant, bro, like that is an extreme risk that comes with being a player. And it is a con. It's gonna be hard to recover from that. This is why it's so important, if you're playing that game, not to be involved with women who you would not want to have a kid with. This is easier said than done. I mean, I know I'm saying this, you know, obviously most dudes aren't gonna do this. You know what I'm saying? I get it. But I'm just saying, you have to really think, because getting a girl pregnant, what Kanye say, bro? For 18 years. 18 years, she got one of your kids. She got you for 18 years. Really a lifetime. You know what I'm saying? Let's be for real. She really got you a lifetime. But I'm not going to put this in soul tax, because at the end of the day, it is your kid. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's still your kid. You know, and pregnancy, it might be a blessing in disguise. You know, so it might be the highlight of your life. I'm not here to tell you it's necessarily a bad thing. I'm just saying that it is a real risk. And if you're being a player, you probably don't actually want to have a pregnancy with this girl, or else you probably will be taking her a lot more seriously. So I'm going to still say this is a con, bro. Like, that's why it's so important to always protect yourself, protect her. And also, that's why sometimes being a player just is not worth it at all. All right, next we have damaged. So damaged, I'm putting this one as soul tax. Now look, when you're a player, I don't think being a player low key protects you from certain damage that dudes who are not players will encounter. For sure, that's definitely probably true. Like, there's some stuff that people tell me, I'm like, dang, that's crazy. But, and no, I'm not a player. I'm not saying I'm a player at all. I'm just saying in general. But if you stare at the abyss long enough, it stares back. If you are a player, you're interacting with a lot of girls who maybe have damaged themselves. And when you're just swimming through all this mud, it's hard for you not to have any type of dirt attached to you. Like, it's hard for you to just really go through this and just like completely have no type of just like take no type of damage. You know what I'm saying? You could have the best shields and everything up. You're still gonna take some minimal damage, even just from seeing how much a woman could be hurt by interacting with you. Like, you might not even wanted to cause her any hurt or any pain, but then you're just like, dang, she really feels all this type of way. I thought she knew we were just having fun, but now you're causing her damage, and now you feel bad. Now you feel hurt because you made somebody else hurt. You know, that's one way. Or maybe even two, you know, you're interacting with these women, and then you're like, bro, what's even going on? Like, dang, this is really how she's living. Like, a lot of stuff can happen when you are looking into the abyss, and it stares back at you, and it starts to reflect a lot of the cons of your lifestyle, and it can come with damage. But at the end of the day, like, a lot of this stuff, a lot of the damage that comes with it, it really just exposes you to a lot of harsh realities of the world. So I wouldn't really say like it's necessarily like an unescapable thing, but it definitely changes your perspective on the world when you've been in certain situations and certain interactions with women, or if you're a girl, I guess with men, where you're just like, okay, this is how certain things are, you know, and it can damage maybe the innocent rose petal glasses that you might have had when you were younger, you know. But that's pretty much it, y'all. Thanks for watching the video. Subscribe to the channel and let me know in the comments what y'all think of the list, what you think I got right, what you think I got wrong. At the end of the day, yeah, it is just my opinion. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not a player. If anybody ever says, oh, bruh, or, you know what I'm saying, anybody ever says I'm a player, they're capping. I am not a player. I'm far from a player. I'm a good man. All right, y'all. Peace.